So Mataji, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining for this morning Saturday Srimad Bhagavatam session. Thank you to Premadatta Prabhu and all the senior leaders of Radha Govindji Circle for giving me this opportunity by giving this Srimad Bhagavatam class to do this service. Actually, while preparing for this class, I was able to actually revisit, do a lot of revision, relish the pastimes of Lord Krishna. I felt it was so much of purification for me as Janmashtami is approaching. By reading the purports of Srila Prabhupada, so much reflection on our own devotional service. So I thank the Lord for giving this opportunity, for getting me purified even before having an opportunity to, on the path of purification, not already purified, on the path of purification, to actually deliver this session and also get into Janmashtami services with the right mood and consciousness. So thank you all. I'm not sure if I will be able to do justice to this topic because it's a vast topic of 7 chapters of the first canto, but I will try my best. Please, requesting all of you, please forgive me if there are any mistakes or shortcomings in my delivery and speech, and also please pray and bless me so that I will be able to be in the service of my Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada and please them in my service. So I have a PPT, so I'm not sure. I think my internet is a little bit slow.
Mataji, are you there? I think maybe a connection issue. Okay, we'll wait for Mataji to...
1 second, Prabhu. We are trying to fix the audio problem. Hare Krishna.
Sure, Prabhu. No issues, Prabhu.
Yeah, because it's going to be a hectic weekend for Janmashtami. Let us prepare our mood by this Srimad Bhagavatam session. The mood and consciousness in which we are going to engage ourselves in the Janmashtami services. So whenever we start any service, it is very nice to hear about the glories of the Lord, to be remembering the Lord, and to also understand the purpose of our service whenever we are doing any service. So that way, this Srimad Bhagavatam session should be a prelude to actually keep us in the thoughts of the Lord and in the main essence of why we are doing the service for Janmashtami. So with that, let us begin our Mangalacharan prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patithanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Jayapataka Swami Tinamini Namo Acharya Padaya Nitaya Padaya Gaura Katha Damadaya Nagara Brahmatarini Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavati पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत श्री वासुदेव गौरव ओके हरे कृष्णा. Okay, so I think the last 2 weeks of our Bhagavatam session, we have been seeing the first 12 chapters of the first canto of the Bhagavatam. So totally the first canto has 19 chapters, and the first 12 chapters, if we see, the first 3 chapters, we had 6 questions from the sages of Naimisharanya to Suta Goswami, asking about various topics of our Vedic culture, and also if we see in those 3 chapters, the supremacy of Bhakti Yoga is actually explained, and also the divinity of the Supreme Lord and the greatness of the Srimad Bhagavatam is also established in the first 3 chapters. Then as we go further down, like the 4th, 5th, and the 6th chapters, if we see how Srimad Bhagavatam is manifested. Actually, it is inspired by Narada Muni and actually told by Vyasadeva. So that 3 chapters, and also the history of Narada Muni, all his 3 lifetimes were actually explained in the next 3 chapters. And also Srimad Bhagavatam, if we see, it is very, very emphasizing only on Bhakti Yoga. So if you see the 2nd verse of the 1st chapter, Dharma Projita Kaitava Atra Paramo Nirmataranam Satam. So it rejects all the cheating religion. That is, all the cheating religion has been rejected in Bhagavatam, and only Bhakti Yoga and pure devotional service is emphasized. So Vyasadeva is meant to write in Bhagavatam only for that purpose. So that 4, 5, and 6 actually emphasizes on that. Then if we see 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, actually the glories of Lord Krishna is being told. So here we see the wonderful qualities of Krishna as Bhaktavatsala. He showed his affection to Draupadi first in the case of Ashwatthama, and then Uttara, and then Kunti Maharani, and then Parikshit. And also he reciprocated with the love and devotion of Bhishma Dev and all the Hastinapur Vasis when Krishna left Hastinapur. And also he reciprocated with the wonderful loving exchanges of Dwaraka Vasis when actually Krishna entered Dwaraka. So if we see, then we begin with the 12th chapter. So, but actually today our topic is actually from the 13th chapter only, but we'll just give a small introduction to the 12th chapter. So anybody remembers what happens in the 12th chapter? Just to wake you all up, or to wake me myself up also. So anybody remembers what is in the 12th chapter of Bhagavatam, first canto? All are sleeping. Okay. Okay, then.
Parikshit Maharaj, Mataji.
Yes, that's right, Prabhu. Sort of Parikshit Maharaj's birth. So the sages wants to know all the birth and activities of Parikshit Maharaj, because the sages are the sages of Naimisharanya are very eager to hear about the activities of Parikshit Maharaj and his birth. So what happens, Parikshit Maharaj is such a wonderful devotee, or such a blessed person, that he is able to see the Lord. Actually, the PPT is not working. I had the first slide as Parikshit Maharaj sitting in the womb, envisioning the beautiful form of the Lord with 2 hands and helmet and other things. So Angushtanam, it says just thumb size Lord. Lord goes as a thumb size into the womb of Parikshit's mother and shows himself to Parikshit. So I was thinking that we all should also pray and envision ourselves in such a way that always we are able to have a form of the Lord in our heart, and always pray to the Lord in such a way that his form is always reflecting in our heart. So Parikshit was such a blessed devotee. So when Parikshit was born, after all those difficulties, Yudhishthira and all the Pandavas were overjoyed, extremely overjoyed. And so Yudhishthira did lot of rituals, lot of sacrifices. He called all the Brahmanas in and gave them lot of charity and wanted to actually he wanted to actually ask the Brahmanas to predict or foretell Parikshit's future. So the Brahmanas gave a wonderful prediction of Parikshit's future. He will be a Raja Rishi. He will be able to control the whole world, and he will be managing a very just and very able ruler. The citizens will love him very much. So very wonderful qualities of Parikshit was given. So with all this background and Parikshit in a very wonderful family of devotees, as a descendant of the Pandavas, as Parikshit was a very wonderful ruler and a great devotee, he comes as a descendant of Pandavas who are actually able administrators and excellent devotees as well. So Parikshit was growing up. Vidura comes in. So the 13th chapter actually begins with Vidura coming in. So Vidura comes into Hastinapur. So who is this Vidura? Anyone wants to say? Manibhushan Prabhu, you can pause a little bit. Anybody else?
Mataji is the third brother of Dhritarashtra.
Yeah, that's right. He's the third brother of Dhritarashtra. Very nice. So Vidura was actually before the war. I think. Somebody, yeah, okay. So Vidura was actually before the war, as he was the brother of Dhritarashtra. He was a very exalted devotee of the Lord, and he was Yamaraj actually, because of a curse he was born in the Kaurava dynasty. So here actually he was trying to advise Dhritarashtra, saying that Duryodhana is not doing the right things, and he is very envious of Pandavas and Krishna. And I think Dhritarashtra, you should get rid of him and other things. But actually, Duryodhana was very, very attached to, Dhritarashtra was very attached to Duryodhana, and he could not take the right decisions. And Duryodhana himself was very angry on hearing Vidura's advice. And he actually insulted with very harsh words. And he said that you are a son of a mistress and you have no claim to the kingdom, and you should leave the kingdom immediately. So such harsh words were spoken to Vidura by Duryodhana. And Vidura had to actually, Vidura was feeling very pained by these harsh words. But pure devotees, whenever there are challenges in their life or obstacles in their life, they are having that maturity to take it as plan of the Lord. So what they do, Vidura understood that this is a plan of the Lord, and in one way he took this scenario as in a very, very positive mindset, and he left the kingdom and he went on a big pilgrimage. And this pilgrimage actually had so much of effect on Vidura that he took Maitreya Rishi as a spiritual master, and he did lot of enquiry with Maitreya Rishi. So he was actually inquiring from Maitreya Rishi, knowing a lot about the Lord and the devotional service and bhakti and how to perform bhakti and so many things. So whenever we interact with Vaishnavas, there are three very important things we need to do. First thing is, when we are interacting with Vaishnavas, we should be very, very honest. We should not showcase ourselves. Oh, I am doing this, I'm doing that, even without doing things. So we should be very honest and straightforward, and we should behave from our heart. So that is the first thing when we are with Vaishnavas. Second thing is, we should follow the instructions of the Vaishnavas, because when we are sincere and we will be able to, okay, we'll be able to follow the instructions of the Vaishnavas. And the third thing is, whenever we meet a Vaishnava, we should inquire from him. We should inquire from him, or we should question from him. Ask a question or inquire, or take some instructions. So that way, because Vaishnavas are jewels, they have the Lord in their heart, and they can actually take us more closer to Krishna. So very, very important to take advantage of when we are having association of Vaishnavas. So Vidura was such an exalted devotee. So when Vidura came in, what happened is, very, very, very happy. Yudhishthira and the Pandavas were very happy because he's coming back after a long time. He was welcomed very nicely. He was given all the respect, and he was seen to that he was taken care very well. But Vidura's mind was always on Dhritarashtra. So he wanted to meet Dhritarashtra he did not come into the palace of Hastinapur to stay there or reside there. Oh, now the war is over. Duryodhana is gone. I can go and settle over there. No, he was already a self-realized devotee. So he wanted to come and prevail some sense, or put some sense into Dhritarashtra's mind. So he comes inside and he actually talks to Dhritarashtra. And this 13th chapter is called Dhritarashtra Quits Home. So it's a very, very, if you're getting time, please read the purports. Very beautifully Prabhupada would have explained how we should detach ourselves from family affairs, and how we should slowly get closer and closer to devotional service. So Prabhupada would have given a lot of practical tips, how we actually should take up to Krishna consciousness more seriously after a certain age, and how we have to slowly hand over our responsibilities to the younger generation and move towards Krishna consciousness more seriously. So Vidura was very, very, very straightforward in telling Dhritarashtra that what are you thinking? Do you think this palace and kingdom will be ever with you? And as time passes, you're going to lose everything. You're going to lose family. You're going to lose this kingdom. You're going to lose all these comforts. Are you not even understanding? Are you not even understanding there is an impending death which is waiting for you? You are still thinking that everything is going to be as it is. At one time when Duryodhana was there, you were actually insulting the Pandavas. You were even trying to kill them. And now you are maintained by Yudhishthira and the Pandavas. And still you are happily, luxuriously, you want to sit in the palace. Like this, Vidura actually dawned some sense into Dhritarashtra. Very strong words and very pointed words to Dhritarashtra. And sometimes we learn by three ways. The first way, a first-class person, he learns by hearing about others' problem. If somebody has a problem, when you hear about that problem, oh Krishna, I should not do that mistake. I should be correct. This mistake I should not do. Otherwise, I will fall down from Krishna consciousness. That is a first-class devotee. The second-class devotee, he along with hearing, he needs to see, oh, somebody is doing this mistake. Somebody is having this problem because he has done this mistake. He has to see that person undergoing that difficulty. Then that person will learn from that mistake. The third-class devotees are, they will hear, they will see, still they will not hear, they will not learn, but they will experience that same problem. They will do that same mistake others have done, and then they will only experience. Then they will learn. So which type is Dhritarashtra?
First.
Which type is Dhritarashtra?
Third type, mataji.
Which one?
First.
Third type.
Third type. Actually, Dhritarashtra is the fourth type. So thank you for the answer, Prabhu. So he did. Okay, we are very sorry for all this thing. Whenever we want the most, that are you able to hear me now?
Yes, Mataji, we can hear you.
Okay. Mataji, you may need to make me co-host right now, please. Nitai Priya Mataji, if possible, you can make me co-host. Okay, I'll continue until she responds. Host it. No, it's not allowing me to make me host. Okay, somebody can call Nitai Priya Mataji and say.
So she has made you now, Mataji, you can do.
Okay. Okay, so I'm just quickly going through the slide. Okay, so this was the slide I was talking about. Yeah, you're able to see the presentation?
Yes, Mataji, we are able to see.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is the slide I was talking about, how Parikshit was seeing the Lord in this form. And we are also child to Krishna. So always we can pray that Lord shows us this form in our heart. So Dhritarashtra quits home. We went further. Okay, we are here only, not moved much. Okay. So what happens is, Dhritarashtra was the fourth kind, he, even after experiencing, lost all his 100 sons, lost the whole war, battle, and but still he is, residing, and in every day people are giving him respect and enjoying all those things. Vidura was very directly talking to Dhritarashtra, and Dhritarashtra realizes the mistakes he has done, and he starts to feel that he has to do something to perfect his life. So Vidura says that let's go to the forest, let's renounce everything, let's take up to hard meditation, let's take up to realizing our soul and realizing God. So Gandhari, as a chaste wife of Dhritarashtra, we all know Gandhari's qualities. She feels the changes in Dhritarashtra's heart. So she immediately, she follows Dhritarashtra. So with the two of them, the next morning, without telling anybody, Vidura and Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, they leave the palace and they go into the forest forever. So the next morning when Yudhishthira, they have a practice, the Pandavas, as soon as they wake up and they're ready, they go to the elders of the family and they pay respects. So when they found that Dhritarashtra and Gandhari were not there, Vidura becomes very upset. Yudhishthira becomes very upset. He literally feels that he is the one to be blamed, and he is not. He feels that he was not taking care of them properly, and he was like very, very, very taking the. He was taking the what to say. He was lamenting and blaming himself. Yeah, he was taking the blame, and he was the culprit, like that. And he even asks Sanjaya, because Sanjaya is supposed to be very, very close to Dhritarashtra and always with him. So we know the Sanjaya character from Bhagavad Gita, right? So Sanjaya was also asked, and Sanjaya said, even I was not aware where they have gone. I can't find them anywhere here. So Yudhishthira was very upset and lamenting and morose. So then enters our hero at all times, Narada Muni comes in. So when Narada Muni comes in, Narada Muni talks to, this is again a wonderful, actually this shloka is when the Pandavas respected Vidura. So Yudhishthira says to Vidura that, my lord, devotees like your good self are verily holy places personified, because you carry the personality of Godhead within your heart. You turn all places into places of pilgrimage. So when we go into pilgrimage places, we are looking at Lord's places where the Lord has visited, Lord has resided, Lord's footprints are there. Like that, we go to all the yatra dhams, isn't it? But when a pure devotee has Lord in his heart, then what happens? Wherever he goes, that place turns into a pilgrimage. That is how Yudhishthira welcomed and respected Vidura. So here you go, Vidura actually telling that shouldn't be attached to family affairs. You should always be engrossed. You're always engrossed in the family thoughts and other things. So time will actually overcome all these things. So Vidura gives pointed instructions to Dhritarashtra. So here Narada Muni comes and advises. He comes and advises Yudhishthira, saying that don't lament. It is not that you who are maintaining and protecting them. It is the Lord who is doing everything. You are just an instrument in the in the hands of the Lord. Each of them, according to their karmic reactions, they come closer for some time, and then after their karmic reactions are over, they disperse. So there is a very beautiful analogy given in this shloka over here. As a player sets up and disperses his playthings according to his own sweet will, the supreme will of the Lord brings men together and separates them. So, like in a cricket match, you know, the captain says, all of you come together, and then he places them, you stay in long off, you stay here, you stay there, like that, you bowl, you do this, you field in square leg, like that they placed, right? So they are all a team. After the match and other things, they go back to their homes. Like that, Lord actually, because of his will, because of the karma, the joint karma of all the souls, he places men together for some time and then again separates them. So Narada gives all these analogies and all these explanations and makes Yudhishthira understand that we are actually controlled by Kala, karma, and the modes of nature. And don't think that you are actually responsible for all these things. The Lord knows, Lord has a bigger plan, and the Lord knows what to do. So you don't think that you are the bigger thing. So he also, Narada Muni also explains, so there is something like a food chain, you know, there is something like Jivo Jivasya Jivanam. You know, the weaker things will be eaten by the little stronger, more stronger animals. And then the stronger, little four-legged animals will be eaten. Like that, there is a food chain. The trees will be eaten by the deer will be eaten by the lion. Like that, there is a food chain. So this is how the biological food chain works. So you don't think that you are controlling. You don't think that you are the maintainer and protector of these three people. He also says, Ahankara Vimudatma Kartaham iti manyata. Like, you are not the doer. Like this, Narada Muni gives lot of advice to Yudhishthira. So what happens is, whenever we are in difficulties, whenever we are bewildered or confused in our spiritual life and also in our material life, we need to take shelter of the Lord, and through him we will get instructions by the pure devotees. So if you see, when Dhritarashtra was happily reclining and enjoying, Vidura comes, the pure devotee Vidura comes to give him some enlightenment and dawn some good things in Dhritarashtra's mind. Similarly, when Yudhishthira was lamenting and crying and feeling bad that because of him only Dhritarashtra and Gandhari have left, his uncles have left, like that. But Narada Muni comes at that time and he gives them the right advice. He says, like, you are not the controller and maintainer. You do as much as you can, but the rest, everything, Lord has a plan and he will do. It happens according to the will of the Lord. So similarly, when we are in difficult situations, our only hope is association of devotees. And by association of devotees, Lord will send his message through these devotees for us to walk on the path of devotional service. So it's very, very important. So as we move on, so with this, we move on to the next chapter, the disappearance of Lord Krishna. That is the 14th chapter. So in the 14th chapter, if you see, what happens? Parikshit was growing up, and then along with Krishna, when Krishna went from Hastinapur to Dwaraka, along with Krishna, Arjuna also went, because Arjuna was inseparable with Krishna. Without Krishna, he was not. So he also went. I'll also go with Krishna to Dwaraka, and it has already been 7 months, and Arjuna has not returned. So Yudhishthira is getting little worried. What is there? There is no one WhatsApp message also. There is no one video call also. This Arjuna didn't do. No voice message also. At least one voice message he would have left if he is so busy over there. So Yudhishthira was very, very upset. Why Arjuna has not come back? So I mean, so many days are over. So he talks to Bhima. What would be the reason? Is there any impending reason that Arjuna has not come back? Is there anything inauspicious would have happened? Because Yudhishthira was able to feel lot of inauspicious things happening around the kingdom and the palace, and so many bad omens showing him that something bad is to happen. So Yudhishthira was feeling very, very uneasy at heart. No, he was not feeling the right way. So if you see Yudhishthira is lamenting. What has happened? All these, because he was seeing, Yudhishthira could feel that actually Kali Yuga has come. The transition from Dwapara to Kali is happening, because around the palace and the kingdom, he could see that people have become more envious. They started becoming deceiving and cheating and all these things. Because of that, Yudhishthira is pained, and he is talking to Bhima. What is happening? Why all these things are happening? So, so then who comes? Arjuna comes. So when Arjuna comes, immediately Yudhishthira was very happy. But when Arjuna comes, as soon as Yudhishthira saw him, he became again sad, because Arjuna's face was very dejected, very sad. There was no brightness in the face of Arjuna. The ever effulgent Arjuna with that power and that thing, Arjuna was so dull, sulking and sitting in one place. And so Yudhishthira was having palpitations in his heart, like, what has happened to my brother Arjuna? So Yudhishthira starts to ask different questions, to open up Arjuna, to make him talk. So Yudhishthira asked, are all our friends happy in Dwaraka? Are my uncles and grandfathers, Vasudeva, Surasena, all of them are good? And is the Dwaraka Vasis happy? Like that, here he says, and then he says, he's inquiring about Balaram also. Is Balaram fine over there? And then he asks, are all the people of Dwaraka very happy because Krishna is ruling? And in that Sudharma is the assembly hall, the very famous, beautiful assembly hall, like heaven. That hall is assembly hall of Dwaraka. That is, are all the people in the assembly fine, like this? So here also the Supreme Lord, who gives pleasure to cows, the senses and the Brahmanas, who's very affectionate towards the devotees, enjoying the pious assembly at Dwaraka Puri, surrounded by friends. So he's asking, is Lord Krishna surrounded by all his friends? Is he happy in the Sudharma assembly hall everywhere? Like that, Yudhishthira is asking so many questions. But Arjuna is not able to open his mouth, and Arjuna is not able to talk anything. And then he directs his questions in a different way. He asks Arjuna, are you well? Is your health okay? And then like that, in a list, he asks about 11 reasons for Arjuna's dejection and sorrow. He asks, have you disrespected anybody? Have you been unfriendly with anybody? Like all these 11 causes he's asking. Is it because of this you are not happy? Is it because of this you are sad? And all those things. And finally, Arjuna did not open his mouth at all. So what happens is, so actually Yudhishthira had a guess, because when Vidura came itself, Krishna has left this planet. So in these chapters, we had discussing the effect of Krishna's leaving the planet. The actual Krishna leaving the planet is discussed in the 11th canto. So here, the effect, that is how the devotees are feeling the separation of Krishna, that is only discussed over here. So actually, when Vidura came itself, Vidura knew that Krishna has left the planet. But Vidura did not want to speak anything inauspicious. And Vidura came with a motive to take Dhritarashtra out of the palace for renunciation. So he was focused on that. So he did not tell anything. Next, when Narada Muni came also, indirectly Narada Muni gave a hint that, this is what is going to happen. One day, now Dhritarashtra Gandhari has left, then one day Krishna will also leave. Then you all also have to leave. Like that, indirectly, Narada Muni is giving a hint. But that time also, Yudhishthira's mind was not wanting to take all those points. But now also, because of the bad omens, inauspiciousness, and looking at Arjuna, Yudhishthira knows something. Oh, I think Krishna would have left. But he doesn't want to ask this question. He delayed to ask this question. His mind understood, but his heart was not accepting the fact that Krishna has left. So what happens? He pushes this question. And finally, he asks this question. He asks this question, has Krishna left the planet? And then when he asks this question, Arjuna could not take it anymore. Arjuna was like completely overwhelmed, and he was holding on to his tears and he was just sitting in a composed way. Then Arjuna actually started to speak in the 15th chapter, and after Arjuna's speech, the Pandavas actually retire timely. So that's a very important word we have to catch. You don't retire at the age of 80 or 90, but you retire at the age where you are healthy enough to practice your devotional service. That is at the age of 50 or 55, you try to retire from your family life and start focusing more and more on devotional service. So we go into the chapter 15 over here. So when we go into chapter 15, Arjuna, with a lot of composure and controlling his tears, he started to respond to Yudhishthira. So the first thing he says is, O King, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, who treated me exactly like an intimate friend, has left me alone. Thus, my astounding power, which astonished even the demigods, is no longer with me. I felt this picture is very, very important for us to keep in our mind, or these words. Honestly, I have no idea how to live without you. Govinda Virahena Me, as told in Shikshastakam by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is the caption we have to catch when we are chanting. Krishna, I am not able to be here in this material world without you. Somehow you take me back to your world and keep me in your service. So I have no idea how to. So you can imagine Arjuna and other Pandavas' position, especially Arjuna, who has been all along with Krishna. And he is like void. He is like completely a vacuum now. He feels, in fact, the first word over here says, Vanchito aham maharaja. Vanchito means he has cheated me. He has left me alone. He feels he's not able to bear the separation of Krishna. So we also left Lord and came into this material world. So we have to be very, very feeling that separation for the Lord. We have to develop that separation for the Lord. So then we come to the most important shloka over here. I'm not sure about the shloka, but the purport is a brilliant purport written by Prabhupada for this verse, 15.5. So if just note down this shloka, and whenever you get time, it is such a enlightening purport for devotees and sadhakas to keep us in our place, to keep us in the right position. So whenever we do any little service or anything, prominently or less prominently, somewhere in the back of the mind or somewhere in our mind, we feel that we have done it. There is some credit in this activity of ours. But here Arjuna says, I have lost him whose separation would render all the universes unfavorable and void like bodies without life. So he says, I I have nothing, nothing. I'm just like void. I don't have anything. Only because of him, I was doing all those activities and accomplishments. So in this purport, Prabhupada says, we can accomplish anything and everything only by the powers given by Krishna to us. Only by those powers we can accomplish. Nothing by our own capacity or ability we can do. So like that, Prabhupada writes a beautiful purport over here. Actually, Prabhupada is such a exalted Acharya. So if you see, Prabhupada says that his purports are transcendental ecstasies. So whenever he feels more connected to Krishna, he feels like crying for Krishna out of separation. When he feels the devotion for Krishna, he sits to pen down his purports. And that is actually Krishna coming directly and giving the message to Prabhupada to write this, to give the instructions like this for the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita purports, what Prabhupada has written. So reading Bhagavatam and reading Prabhupada purports is very, very important. I know we all don't have a reading habit. We all also started like that only, whenever asked to read. And the first thing when we take a book, what comes before us? Who comes before us?
Sleep.
Mitra Devi will come and dance before us, first thing, and she will make sure that we are happily and peacefully go to sleep. So what happens is, when you want to read the Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, I heard one lecture, one Prabhu Maharaj was saying, take the book every day. You may not want to read, but hold the book in your hand. Touch the book, feel the book, look at the picture. If you want to read Bhagavad Gita, look at Arjuna and Krishna's picture in the chariot. Touch the book, feel the book. Let your emotions for Krishna flow. Start praying to Krishna. Krishna, I want to give my time to read and read about you and understand you. By understanding you, I want to be more in service. I want to engage myself in service. So please give me the time and please give me the understanding to understand you. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. Give me the intelligence to understand you. So like that, pray to Krishna. That is very, very important, because Prabhupada has given the last bit of energy also for writing these purports. So here, if you see, yeah, there's one beautiful, okay, I think I have, I don't know, there was one very beautiful picture, I think it's not there. So yeah, so the Prabhupada has given the last bit of energy also for writing these purports and translating these purports through his mouth, and people are recording and, giving us those purports. Once, I just tell this very wonderful pastime of Prabhupada, like how his close devotee felt. Brahmanda Prabhu was secretary to Prabhupada and one of the early disciples of Prabhupada. So Prabhupada was very, very busy. During 1974-75 was running from country to country, preaching and pandal program, and establishing centers and temples, and trying to go and meet big people to make ISKCON more favorable. And so many things Prabhupada was doing. So from morning to night, Prabhupada was having a hectic day, and in the night when Prabhupada sat in the car to go home, Brahmanda Prabhu was also sitting along with him in the back seat. And Prabhupada and Brahmanda Prabhu is a foreign body devotee, and was a very healthy body, very tall and very healthy. He just left his body about 8-9 years back in Vrindavan, 2014-15, I think. We also remember all his glories when he left his body. We read a lot about him and heard a lot about him. So many pastimes. So Brahmanda Prabhu was sitting and Prabhupada was sitting beside him, and as the car was moving, Prabhupada started to doze off. And Prabhupada was so exhausted, and Prabhupada dozed off, and he slided into Brahmanda Prabhu's lap. And Brahmanda Prabhu was like overwhelmed with emotions and tears. And when he saw Prabhupada, he saw this old man, my spiritual master. He has given every drop of his energy to Krishna. He is not holding back anything. He just wants to uplift all the conditioned souls around him. and he is just giving all his energy for the service of the Lord. For us, when we want to do service or when we want to give anything, Krishna, for you 1, for me 5. Any profit in business, 5% for you, Krishna, 95% I will take. And we call for service, Mataji, please come for service, Prabhu, please. I think half an hour I can give. The whole 24 hours, Krishna only has given us. But only 20-25 minutes, I'll come and do some service and go. So we'll bargain with the Lord. We'll try to do all our other activities and give the rest of the time to Krishna. But Prabhupada has given his complete energy. So take these. So Prabhupada, Brahmanda Prabhu was saying that Prabhupada's not a drop of energy is anywhere else. It is completely for Krishna. So that is why he is an empowered Acharya. So Prabhupada, so we can read Prabhupada's purpose as much as possible and try to enlighten, take the instructions of Prabhupada and get more closer to Krishna. So coming back over here, so Prabhupada gives very important instructions, how Lord empowers us. So here also, Arjuna reflects on all his accomplishments, and he feels, oh, okay, all these accomplishments I was able to do only because of Krishna. Only because of Krishna I have done. And now he says, I have the same Gandiva bow, the same arrows, the same chariot. I use them as same Arjuna to whom all the kings. I am the same Arjuna also. But in the absence of Krishna, all of them at a moment's notice, just like that, have become null and void. Like clarified butter on ashes. If you put butter on ashes, it goes away. We can't even cease. So many examples Arjuna is giving. And Prabhupada also writes in the purport, like if Lord wants, in a moment, he'll take away all the power. So never be proud. So from the 7th to the 17th verse, actually of this chapter, Arjuna recollects all his accomplishments and other things. So here also, Arjuna is in intense grief, and with his grief, Pandavas understood that there is no point for them to actually stay back in this world. So Yudhishthira and other Pandavas, they retire. They plan to walk towards the Himalayas, and they plan to renounce everything. They handed over the kingdom to Parikshit, who was very, very able and well groomed by now. And then they slowly left the palace, and Draupadi also left along with them, and they retired, and they walked towards the Himalayas, seeking self-realization and Lord. So with that, we come to the end of the 15th chapter. We are in the 16th chapter. So how Parikshit received the age of Kali. So here, so what happens here? The sages of Naimisharanya are more and more eager now. Tell us more. Tell us more. Why they are asking different questions? Why Kali was punished by Parikshit? Why didn't if Kali is doing such a wrong thing? Why Kali was not killed? He could have killed, and the whole problem would have solved. No, why Parikshit did not kill Kali, but he only punished? So like that, so many questions. The sages are very eager to hear about Krishna, and also they are saying, "Oh, Sutta Goswami, only if it is related to Krishna." Only if it is related to the Supreme Lord, you please tell us. Otherwise, don't waste the time in other topics. So for us also, this is a very important instruction. Talking only about Krishna, hearing about Krishna, even among devotees, what pastime did you hear latest? What did you read? Where are you reading? Talking about the Lord is very important, not about other things. So here, in this chapter, what happens? Kali has started its activities. So Kali started its activities, and it is becoming more and more prominent and widespread, and it is coming to Parikshit Maharaj's ears. Parikshit is ruling very well and all those things, but still the disturbance by Kali is coming to his ears. So Parikshit, as a Kshatriya, he wants to actually go and see. He wants to go and challenge Kali. So he leaves the kingdom and he goes on a tour. Let me see. So wherever he goes, he he goes on the kingdom, he meets citizens, he meets people, he meets devotees. Everybody are talking. You see so many pastimes of the Lord. Everybody are talking about Pandavas, the pure devotees, and they're talking about how the relationship they had with Krishna, and how the Lord's lotus feet has come in all these places. Like that, everybody are talking about the glories of the pure devotees, Pandavas, and the glories of Krishna. Like that, very, very beautifully, actually, Maharaj Parikshit is feeling, he's able to feel the presence of Krishna, and he will able to feel the fortune that he is born in the Pandava family. So that is what he's feeling. As he was doing all these things, what happens is, he sees that a Shudra who's well dressed, like with crown and other things, a third class man, he is actually torturing and tormenting a bull and a cow. So here the bull represents the religious principles, that is dharma, and the cow represents Mother Earth. So he sees this, and he sees this through his yogic vision. He sees this through his meditative vision. So he goes and he also sees that there is a conversation between this bull and the cow. So the bull is asking, the religious principles, dharma is asking the cow, Mother Earth, why are you sad? Are you sad because you are being tortured by this person? Or are you sad because your friend has gone far away? Or are you sad because the bull, the dharma, is standing only in one leg? I'm broken my other three legs. What is the reason for your sadness? So because the cow is sad. And the cow says, I'm sad for all these reasons. I'm sad for everything. And most importantly, my friend Krishna, he has left this planet. And how can I be very happy? I am very, very separated from him, and I'm very sad. And here, he's one important thing is, like, Mother Earth says, who therefore can tolerate the pangs of separation from that supreme God? He could conquer the gravity and passionate wrath of his sweethearts like Satyabhama, his sweet smile of love, glance, and happy appeals. When he traversed the earth, I would be immersed in the dust of his lotus feet, and thus would be sumptuously covered with grass which appeared like hair standing on me out of pressure. So who is that one fortunate person who always had the contact of Krishna when Krishna appeared in this material world in Dwapara Yuga? Anybody?
Mother Earth.
Yes, I think I already gave the clue. Thank you, Prabhu. So Mother Earth, she feels that she is the most fortunate devotee because always Krishna's lotus feet is on her surface. And she says the most she relished was when the Vrindavan pastimes were happening, because that time Krishna never wear shoes. If you see the second picture over here, Krishna's lotus feet was all on the sand of Krishna and Balaram's lotus feet on the sand of Vrindavan. So she was enjoying the lotus feet of the Lord on her. So she was saying that she's feeling very sad like that. And then when this conversation was happening, Kali actually, who was dressed like a king, so what happens, Parikshit catches hold of Kali, and then he actually says, how can you do this? You are actually tormenting and torturing both the bull and the bull and the cow. How can you do this? So here, before killing Kali, he already took his sword to kill Kali, but Parikshit wanted to talk to the bull because the bull is already in one leg only. He wanted to get the statement from the bull. Is Kali torturing you? So he asked the bull, is this person torturing you? Are you getting difficulty by him? So the bull responded, I'm not sure. I don't know. Why? I don't know. Actually, here he says, see if you see over here. Yeah, he says many reasons. The bull is giving many reasons. There may be difficulty due to many, many reasons. Each person will think that difficulty is because of this, because of this, because of this, like that. But for me, the Lord is the cause of all the causes, and I am not sure why I am suffering. So you judge for yourself by your sage among kings. So Parikshit, you are the sage among kings. You judge for yourself. He says like that. So when he says like that, two important messages the acharyas give. They say that when you are confused, the cause of my suffering, that indicates quality of Kali Yuga. People in this world, especially in Kali Yuga, are bewildered. They don't know what their cause of suffering is. They are thinking the immediate cause. This person is giving me trouble. That person is giving me trouble. But actually, the actual cause is something different. It's because of our own karmic reaction. And the second important aspect is we see from a very Vaishnava perspective. When we see from a Vaishnava perspective, we see that here Krishna is the cause of all the causes. And he knows, according to your karmic reactions, what you have to undergo and what you have to get purified and everything. So this Gajendra Moksha, Gajendra's prayers over here, Gajendra also says that you are the cause of all the causes. You are the reason for everything, like that. So also pure devotees, the Vaishnava mentality is when they are undergoing difficulties. A very famous shloka by Brahma, Tattenu kampam susamikshakamo bunjanu evatma kritam vipakam. So he says that I'll patiently undergo all my reactions and wait for your mercy. I will wait for your mercy. So this is the mood in which Vaishnavas, they tolerate and they forbear the difficulties. So Vaishnavas don't blame others and they don't take credit also for success, and they don't blame when they are in difficult situations. So Dharma personified, he actually said that you decide what it is, like that. So here, he wanted to kill Kali, who Parikshit was ready to kill Kali. So that time Kali came and surrendered to the lotus feet of Parikshit. He said, I am so sorry, you please forgive me. I will not do this and that and that. So as a righteous king, whenever somebody surrenders, they cannot kill that person. So Parikshit said, you have been very, very atrocious and very bad. So you leave my kingdom immediately. I cannot kill you because you have taken shelter, but you leave my kingdom. So Kali again asks, where will I go? Where will I go? Because I don't have place to go anywhere. I am caught up in your kingdom only, and in your kingdom I don't have any places. So Parikshit says, wherever these four regulative principles are broken, you can go and stay there. Then Kali says, in your kingdom, these four regulation principles are not broken at all. I'm not able to find any place. So we know these four regulative principles, right? Intoxication, gambling, illicit sex, meat eating, austerity, truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy, all those things. And in Kali Yuga, the dharma is standing only on truthfulness. And that too I'm doubting now, but whatever little is there, only on truthfulness. The other three are already gone. So then again, Parikshit says, okay, wherever there is lot of gold and there is lot of wealth and there is intoxication of wealth, there may be a possibility of these four dharmas also collapsing. So you go and reside in that place. So which Prabhupada says it's very, very important that we be careful about all these places where more wealth and gold are there. So we have to be very careful. So Kali got a place to reside, and Kali resides actually in these places. So with this, we go on to further how Parikshit Maharaj was cursed by a Brahmana Paul. So we all know many of these stories. So the sages wanted to actually hear more and more about Parikshit's glories, about his death, how he faced death without any bewilderment, like that. So here also this shloka is very important. If you see most of the devotees who are actually Bhishma, Srila Prabhupada, and Vamanadev actually putting his step on Mahabali and all those things. If you see, the shloka says, this was so because those who have dedicated their lives to the transcendental topics of the personality of Godhead, of whom the Vedic hymns sing, and who are constantly engaging in remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, do not run the risk of having misconceptions even at the last moment of their lives. So even at the last moment, they don't get bewildered. they are not bewildered by death. They are very, they know how to take death. So with that aspect, what happens, I'm just going a little fast in the interest of time. We know this Parikshit Maharaj story, what happened and how Shringi, that is Shamika Rishi's son, cursed Parikshit Maharaj. And when Parikshit Maharaj was cursed, so it is said Parikshit Maharaj was wonderful devotee. He had all these 26 qualities, what was mentioned in Bhagavad Gita by Krishna and all these things. But in spite of that, when Parikshit Maharaj went into the forest and he got angry with Shamika Rishi for not responding, it is said that it is because of the will of the Lord that Bhagavatam have to arise. So it is the will of the Lord that actually this scenario was created for Parikshit Maharaj. As similar as how Arjuna was a great warrior, great Kshatriya, wonderful powers, but still he was bewildered before the war. He didn't want to fight. So it's not that Arjuna is prone for bewilderment or confusion, but Arjuna was put in that situation by the Lord. Similarly, Parikshit was put in the situation for the birth of Srimad Bhagavatam. So all these things happened, and we know that story. So we go further, and then the devotees, even after getting cursed, Parikshit was very, very tolerant. He did not defame or do anything. He did not blame the Brahmana boy or the Shamika Rishi, and he took the curse in his stride. So here we go to the 19th chapter. So in the 19th chapter, Parikshit came back to the palace. He was actually contemplating, and he was contemplating about what he did, the mistake and the curse, and then he decided to renounce the kingdom, and he handed over to his son Janamejaya, and he changed his robes. He changed into a simple saffron robe, and he came and sat near the Ganges. And within seconds, like wildfire, when something important is happening, everything will spread, you know, tuck, 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 tuck. Like that, all the sages, the demigods, they know something major is going to happen, and it's only 7 days now. And in 7 days, lot of activities, so much of Krishna Katha, hearing about the Lord, so many devotees together. So everybody comes and assembles in the banks of the Ganges. And then Parikshit prays to all these Brahmanas and sages. Oh, Brahmanas, accept me as a completely surrendered soul, and let Mother Ganges, the representative of the Lord, also accept me in that way. I have already taken the lotus feet of the Lord into my heart. Let the snake bird, magical thing Brahmana created, bite me at once. I only desire that you all continue singing the deeds of Lord Vishnu. So in the 7 days, I want to just hear about the Lord. And he decides to fast, and he wants to hear Krishna Katha all the 7 days. All the sages also approve of this thing. And then he asks the very, he also says that 3 things he says. One thing is, I want to have always the association of devotees, and I want to have loving devotion to the Lord. And the 3rd thing he says, I want to be friendly with all the living entities. So he says that I desire all these things. And then he asks 2 important questions. He asks, I want to ask 2 important questions. He says about my immediate duty. That is, he says that what is the duty of a person throughout his life, and what is the duty of a person at death. So Prabhupada also says in this quote, very important to take Krishna consciousness immediately, because we do not know how much time is left before our death. So don't wait at the last moment I will take. So 2 questions he asks. What is the duty of a person throughout his life, and what is the duty of a person at death? How to live and how to leave. These are the 2 questions he asks. So these 2 questions, when he asked, there appeared Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami appeared like a sun appearing in the horizon. And when he appeared, he sat on the Vyasasan, and Parikshit Maharaj gave him all the due respects and washed his feet and other things. Parikshit Maharaj also says, like, simply by remembering you, our houses become instantly sanctified. Even to remember pure devotees, the house becomes sanctified. And what to see, speak of seeing you, touching you, washing your holy feet, and offering you seat in our home. So I'm so fortunate. I am able to do all this. I'm seeing you, touching you, washing your feet, and making you sit in the Vyasasana. So kindly, you please give your answer my questions, and you please talk to me about the Lord. So here Parikshit is again asking those two questions to Sukadev Goswami. What is the duty at all times of a devotee, and what a person should hear, chant, and remember at the time of death? So these two questions actually is the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. These two questions asked at the end of the first canto forms the answers to these two questions which Sukadev Goswami gives is the entire rest of the 11 cantos. So Sukadev Goswami begins to answer in the second canto the impotent questions of what Parikshit has asked. So with this, we come to the end of our first canto. So if you want to quickly go through the just highlights of 13, Pandavas treated Vidura, how they treated Narada Muni's advice and hint. Then chapter 14, Yudhishthira seeing bad signs, Yudhishthira's questions to Arjuna about his dejected look. And then 15, Arjuna following etiquette even at distress, empty and powerless feeling. Very important purport, 15.5, characteristics of Parikshit Maharaj. And then 17, 18, 19, we'll have about Dharma, the 4 important principles, pure Vaishnava mindset. Chapter 18, qualities of speaker, listener, and subject matter. Parikshit Shamika Shringi story. Chapter 19 is Shamika Rishi's mindset. Actually, Shamika Rishi was very apologetic and he asked for forgiveness. So Parikshit's thought about his act and as contemplating, did I do the right thing? Parikshit was contemplating. So that's very important in our devotional service also. So characteristics of Sukadev Goswami. So these are the things covered. So with this, we complete the first canto. Thank you so much for bearing with me. I have exceeded the time by about, as usual, by about 10-12 minutes, which I am not able to stop. Thank you so much.
I think there was so much content, Mataji, so you could still cover in 1 hour. That itself is an achievement.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for this, taking us through all these 7 chapters. So I think it's maybe from next week onwards, we will have 1 chapter by every week. So maybe we'll be able to cover these 3 sessions. We were just rushing off.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how much justice we did to first canto, because it's so important canto. But maybe from second canto onwards, from next week, we'll have 1 chapter every week. So thank you so much, Mataji. In the interest of time, I'll just leave it that we'll not ask any question. Sorry about that. And we want to thank Mataji by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So I request everybody to mute off and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times. Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. जोर से पानी निकाल लो यहाँ पे.
Anybody has any question, please feel free to contact Apara Mataji for today's session.
Bhai Prabhu, this last bit.
So thank you so much once again,
Wishing
Mataji.
you all a very, very happy Krishna Janmashtami. Do your services very, very nicely. Pray to the Lord. Do it in the right consciousness and right mood to bring more and more souls closer to Krishna, because all of us are trying to do outreach programs. So bring more and more souls close to Krishna. That will be the best service for Prabhupada and Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Namaskar.